Hey, what's up? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I wanted to talk about something that I just saw in the media not too long ago. Toya Graham, I think that's her name. She was the mother who, during the Baltimore riots, was seen on TV, slapping her son in public, humiliating him. And I'll tell you the truth, I didn't like it when I saw it. I understood why she did what she did. She's afraid. She wants her baby to be safe. But I think there are better ways to handle it. I don't think that mothers emasculating their sons in public is a winning strategy when it comes to raising a son. It just really doesn't work typically. Sometimes it may work. You may get lucky, but eventually he realizes he's bigger than you. And there's a point where your authority, you're yelling at him, hitting him, all these things aren't really going to work anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I advocate for men to have older male role models, or preferably the father in the home. But the war on drugs and mass incarceration kind of threw that off balance. I mean, the black community was kind of hit with a haymaker, and so now you have so many boys being raised by their mothers. And the fact is that many of these boys are not being taught to be men. It's not disconnected to the to what's going on in terms of the whole down low phenomenon. It's not disconnected in terms of what's happening with black males not being strong providers in the way that we should. It doesn't mean all brothers are in this category, but there is a difference in manhood today, because manhood has to be taught, and it's not usually going to be taught by a woman. Just like I can't teach my daughters how to be a woman. I can teach my daughters how to be a woman from a man's perspective, which is valuable information, right? I can tell them things about men that they may not know, but I can't teach them how to do their hair, how to put on a tampon, how to how a dress is supposed to look on a woman, because I'm not a woman. My brain doesn't really function the way a woman's brain thinks. So again, some people can overcome it, some people can work around it, but most people cannot. And so what's happening with our kids is not disconnected from the fact that many of them don't have fathers. In fact, in this wildlife reserve, they actually found that when they put male elephants, adolescent male elephants in the reserve, what happened was these males had been traumatized. Their fathers had been killed for their tusks, and they would put the youth and their mothers in this reserve, and there were no adult males around to provide mentorship. So when elephants become adolescents, they break off into gangs, just like teenagers do on the south side of Chicago or in Harlem. They form gangs. This is something that happens with mammals across the animal kingdom, not just humans. And what happened was they would form these gangs, and they would go and do these horrible things to other animals that were not connected to their nature. They were very different from what they would naturally do, and people didn't understand, well, why are these elephants behaving this way? Well, they found out it was because they didn't have male role models. So if that's true for elephants, it's also true for humans. It's true for a lot of mammals. So the fact of the matter, what my point is on this is to say that to some extent our community is kind of thrown out of whack and off balance a little bit. Mothers are out here doing the best that they can, but I think that we really have to really talk about what it means to structure a proper family. Because just because you're forced into one type of inconvenient potential dysfunction doesn't mean you should make it intergenerational. And that's what's happening. We're taking these unnatural habits and we're making them sort of transfer across generations, where the mother, the girl and the boy who grew up without the father, they then get together and make a baby, and the boy runs off because he doesn't think a father's supposed to stay, and the girl tells him to go because she doesn't think a father needs to be there. She's got her baby. I see that happen a lot. So anyway, about this woman, Toya Graham, I understood what she was trying to do. My mother wasn't entirely different. I could see my mother doing something like that when I was that age, and there were times where I needed to get maybe hit upside the head, etc. But I don't think that's the right strategy. I didn't, again, it really left me concerned and disturbed. And what disturbed me even more was the way you had these racists, these bigots on Fox News and other places applauding this mother. Thank you for slapping the shit out of your black son and pulling his little monkey black ass out of the street. Thank you for getting this thug off the street and punishing him for the conditions that we created as a white community. You see, the thing is that the things that her son was out there rioting against and fighting against are the conditions that are thrust upon black people. Young people are the ones who typically lead these kinds of revolts. Without young people, nothing would happen because old people are too scared most of the time. And old people are the ones who tell young people, no, don't you go out there in the street, you're going to get hurt. But without young people, we wouldn't have had the civil rights movement. A lot of revolutions, most revolutions around the world are led by people, in their early 20s, teenagers, etc. And so, my point on this was that her son had every right to participate. Again, I don't know why he was out there. Maybe he doesn't know. Sometimes we get involved in stuff we don't know exactly why we're doing it, but we know something's wrong. We know something's off balance. And if you look at Baltimore, the teenagers may not have a good education. They may not understand the social issues the way you and I do, but they know something's wrong. They know that there's a reason that they're struggling more than the wealthy white folks, in other parts of the city. When you look at this mother, she was talking about how she can't keep her house, she can't keep food on the table, she's struggling. Well, that's why her son was out fighting, because the fact is that black families struggle unlike anybody else. And so, it's interesting that you have whites that really want black people to suffer in silence. That's what they want. They want you to, when your son goes out and he protests the conditions that we're putting you under, we want you to smack his little black ass and bring him home and tell him to sit down and shut up and take it. Well, I'm not interested in that. I don't think. I mean, if you're putting kids in such a bad situation that they don't care if they live or die because their conditions are so horrendous, and you got people in the power structure who ain't never gonna give a damn, well, what choice other than fighting back are you giving that young person? And so, my point here is that I understand why Miss Graham did what she did. I think, and again, that's part of the imbalance with some of these households. Is that I think in my household anyway, my mother was my nurturer. My father was the one who made me strong. My father was the one who said, "You don't take that shit. You stand up. You fight back, right?" And so, if my father had not been there, my mother would have coddled me, protected me, kind of kept me out of harm's way, and I don't think I'd be the man that I am right now. I think that my father is the one who taught me to fight. He taught me that there's certain things you just don't take. You don't let people hurt the people you love. You stand up for your community. You stand up for the people, for whatever it is you care about, because you're protecting your manhood and your integrity can be more important than simply trying to stay alive. Stay alive for what? Why would you? I mean, some people are so focused that on continuing to stay alive that they never actually get a chance to live. Well, whether you fight back or don't fight back, you're still going to get old and you're going to die. The question is, are you going to get old and die in dignity or without your dignity? I choose dignity. So again, I'm not trying to bash this mother or anything like that. I'm not trying to bash single mothers who are doing their best. I am trying to say that in our families, in our communities, really got to talk about our family structures and how to build healthy families. I love blackandmarriedwithkids.com because you don't see VH1 or BET promoting these kinds of ideas of healthy black families. You see these networks promoting the ratchetness and the dysfunction, right, and celebrating that, profiting from that, really putting it on display so we can laugh at it and kind of get entertained by people's pain. That's what these shows kind of do. But I think that site platforms like blackandmarriedwithkids.com, which come up on the internet because corporate America has no interest in the survival of the black family, platforms like that are beneficial to our community. So we should support businesses like that. So if you get a chance and you got your board, go to blackandmarriedwithkids.com and buy a book, buy a DVD, buy whatever. Just support them because this is the kind of stuff that's going to build us for the future. We cannot sort of take dysfunction and celebrate it and act like it's normal and be happy about it because it'll only continue to perpetuate itself. Bottom line as well on the whole tip of white people sort of cheering on this black mother beating the hell out of her son because he's protesting white supremacy. They can go to hell with that stuff. Those same white people who sat there and cheered when she beat the hell out of her son, ain't none of the white folks showing up to help her pay for that house mortgage, for them, or put food on that table. None of those people are doing that. Why? Because they're saying to you, we want to keep fucking you over. We want to keep you in the ground, but we don't want you to fight back. We want you to be docile. We want you to be weak. We want you to be quiet and meek, and we want you to suffer in silence. We're going to applaud you for squashing the rebellion, but we will continue to perpetuate the oppression at the same time. That's like that's like a rapist saying, I'm glad that you're keeping your mouth shut. No, don't keep your mouth shut. You speak up. And that's the problem with us as black folks. We get too damn scared. Stop being scared. Quit being scared of white people. Stop looking for their approval. You need to stand up for yourself. Period. That's it. So if I was talking to that young man, I'd say, okay, maybe there are better ways to handle or to let out your aggression, but let's talk about that. But you be a fighter. Don't you sit back and act like this is normal. This is not normal. That's all I really want to say. I didn't mean to just go into these tangents and drill in so much, but I was just thinking about this and I was like, no, like this poor woman's struggling now, and ain't Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, none of them other bigots on Fox News are helping this lady pay that rent. But they'll applaud you when you beat the hell out of your black son because they want to beat the hell out of him too. They want the police to come in his neighborhood and beat the hell out of him. That's what they're enjoying right now. So anyway, I'm done. I'm out. All right, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. Please take care. God bless. I'm gone. Peace.